This video covers the question, what is a scholarly source? You might have seen something like this on a college assignment. You are asked to find peer-reviewed, scholarly articles or books. You are also told not to use non-scholarly web sources. So you might wonder, what is a scholarly, peer-reviewed academic source? This question could also be rephrased as, why use the library and not the open internet? Let's think about where you usually get your information online. You might get your news from the New York Times, and you might look up information quickly on Wikipedia. This information is on the open internet. It is publicly accessible. You can get to these websites using any internet connection. Yes, some scholarly information sources might be accessible on the open internet, but there are a lot of things that you cannot access for free on the internet. Like streaming or downloadable movies, like on Netflix, those cost money. Books and ebooks cost money too. In fact, many academic sources, like science journals, are not freely accessible either. So some information that may be online may not be available to you unless you pay for it. The peer-reviewed articles your professor wants you to use could cost $40 each. But you get a major perk as a college student. Your library gives you access to scholarly sources at no extra cost to you. You have access to scholarly journals online, books and ebooks, international newspapers, law reviews, and even streaming videos. We may not have every information source, but the thousands of books and millions of articles that we do have to offer should support most or all of your research. Let's talk now about what a typical scholarly or academic source looks like. Typically, they take one of two forms, an article or a book. Let's talk about books first. There are several clues that tell you whether or not a book is scholarly. A good clue is that it is a nonfiction book and has been published by an academic press. The book on the screen, for instance, was published by the University of Illinois Press. Second clue, it has credentialed authors. Inside this book, it says that this author is a professor of English and Film Studies at Ohio State University. So he probably knows what he's talking about. Third, there are citations throughout the book and a list of sources at the end of the book. The authors back up their claims by telling you where they got their information, just like you do in your papers. Fourth, it is organized somehow, usually into chapters. And fifth, it is written with a scholarly tone. The author takes their subject seriously. Let's look now at how we can spot whether an article is scholarly or not. First clue, it has an abstract or a summary of its contents, usually at the beginning of the article. Second clue, the authors are listed with their credentials. Here, the two co-authors are both professors of psychology at a major university. Third clue, scholarly articles include citations. Fourth clue, it is usually organized into sections by headings. And finally, scholarly articles also have a scholarly tone and have been peer-reviewed. What does peer-reviewed mean? In academic publishing, the goal of the peer review process is for experts to assess the quality and validity of articles submitted for publication in a scholarly journal. Often, by the way, peer-reviewed is synonymous with scholarly. First, what is a scholarly journal? It's like a magazine for academics that comes out on a regular basis, like every month or every quarter. Every scholarly journal has a specific topic, like the Journal of Forensic Sciences. All the articles published within these journals adhere to this topic. They contain the latest cutting-edge research in these academic fields. In fact, you've already heard about articles published in these scholarly journals. Newspapers and TV news shows often reference findings from recent articles in scholarly journals. CNN cited a study published in BMJ, a healthcare journal. The Guardian mentioned a literary study published in the Open Library of Humanities. And Slate wrote about an article published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences. So let's get back to the peer review process. It all starts when a researcher submits an article about their original research to a scholarly journal, like the Journal of Law and Society. The editor of that journal says, no, that's not usually the kind of thing that we publish, and rejects it, or they accept it into the peer review process. The peer in peer review means the author's academic peers, other experts who do research in the same field. They make recommendations for how the author can make the article better. The author makes these revisions, and the editor looks over the article and either rejects it for still not being good enough or finally accepts it. So every peer-reviewed article has been through this rigorous process that ensures that it's valid and trustworthy. The process can take months or even years. Thousands of scholarly journals that publish these peer-reviewed articles are available through the John Jay Library. The majority of these peer-reviewed articles are not freely available online. On the screen, you're seeing less than 1% of the journal titles that you can access online through the library. So, just to reiterate, you should never have to pay for articles as a college student. The article on the screen usually costs $15 to download, but it is free through the library. So, now you know what a peer-reviewed article is and why you should use the library to look for them. Tune into the next video, which shows you how to find peer-reviewed articles using OneSearch on the library website. Happy researching!